Growing up in the late 2000s, early 2010s, one debate everyone had frequently was Kobe versus LeBron and who was the best player in the world.
LeBron, have you seen my 3 championship rings? Because I seem to have misplaced my 3 championship rings.
Kobe, I'm busy.
Now, fast forwarding a decade later, the Kobe versus LeBron rivalry, it is still kind of present. And looking at the LeBron James side of the argument, there's some fans like this guy who just go way over the edge when arguing LeBron James was the better overall player.
Nobody has been and had more pressure on them to succeed than LeBron James. There's a difference. When Kobe got drafted, Kobe was great, without a doubt. Kobe Bryant averaged like 6-7 points his first year at 18 years old. LeBron James averaged 20 points, 5 fucking assists, and 5 rebounds. Kobe backed up Eddie Jones, man. LeBron James wouldn't have backed up Eddie Jones in the 10th fucking grade, man. What we talking about, man?
So, stopping it right there, that was Rich Paul propaganda to a T. As this guy's main opening point was LeBron James, he faced more pressure, more adversity than any player in NBA history. That same old talking point that gets recycled ad nauseum. And look, LeBron faced a ton of pressure coming in the NBA, but when debating players, overall pressure hype really has no bearing in debate of who the better overall player was. For example, Pat Ewing with the Knicks. Being the savior of Knicks basketball, he had much more pressure than someone like Hakeem Olajuwon. But at the end of the day, that doesn't make Pat Ewing the better overall player, give him a leg up on the dream. Now, this guy's second point was comparing rookie LeBron James to rookie Kobe. Now, first off, I find this kind of odd, because when comparing two players, normally look at their prime and their peak, not their rookie seasons when they were teenagers. Even with that being said, looking at rookie Kobe, summing up his first year in the NBA as just averaging 7 points per game is highly disingenuous. As in the mid-late 90s, that second wave of high school players coming in, really they weren't taken seriously and weren't given the keys to the offense like high school players in the 2000s. I mean, Kevin Garnett, one of the best high school prospects ever, he went to a 21-win Timberwolves team and was coming off the bench for the first 40 games this season behind Christian Laettner. And looking at the 97 Lakers, an unproven 19-year-old joining that team that was very veteran heavy, playing behind Eddie Jones was almost a given. And looking at the Lakers' own coach, that being Del Harris, I wouldn't say he was anti-Kobe. He was more anti-high school players, skipping college, coming right in, and being a vital piece of the offense from day one.
Where are you going?
In the game. Sit down.
And looking back at rookie LeBron James versus rookie Kobe, yes, their overall numbers on paper are heavily slanted in LeBron's favor. But if you do a little digging, Kobe when he made his debut was over 200 days younger than LeBron James when he made his debut. And looking at Kobe's sophomore year, when he made his debut that year, he was 19 years old and 68 days. If you look at LeBron's rookie year, he reached that age at game 62, meaning for the remaining 20 games that year, he was the same age as Kobe during his sophomore year and his debut. So, stay with me. If you look at Kobe's first 20 games of his sophomore year, the same age as rookie LeBron James, the numbers are much more impressive, as he averaged 18.1 points, 3.6 boards, 2.7 assists, 1.2 steals on nearly 44% shooting. In Kobe's first 20 games of the 98 season, he was very comparable to LeBron James in his rookie year. But there was one big contrast. Kobe in those 20 games only played staggering 26.0 minutes, compared to LeBron James, who played 39.5 during his rookie season. I'm not going to say 19-year-old Kobe was better than LeBron James, but comparing the two, it's much closer than you would think at face value. And if you want to add some very important context, the team Kobe came to was a veteran team trying to win championships. As in Kobe's second year, they won a staggering 61 games, and Kobe himself was an all-star despite only starting one game and playing 26 minutes per game that season.
LeBron James ain't never walked in a motherfucking NBA locker room and put a Robin uniform on, man. He always was Batman, man. Let's be for real. Kobe was Robin to Shaq's Batman. Shaq won all the fucking MVPs. Shaq won all the final MVPs. Shaq was the one putting up 47 and fucking 27 rebounds and shit like that. Who the fuck are you supposed to win when your center is that goddamn dominant? So at the end of the day, let's be for real. LeBron James is that guy.
In your rambling, incoherent response, were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought?
So, stopping it right there, this guy, he made a ton of egregious points. His first one being that Kobe, coming in as a Robin to Shaq's Batman, is somehow a bad thing. Look, really any player in NBA history, if they came in as a rookie in 97, they're going to be Robin to Shaq's Batman. That goes for Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Bird, really anyone. And speaking of Magic, the greatest point guard in NBA history, when he came in, he was Robin to Kareem's Batman. Even looking at Steph Curry, wasn't the guy from day one playing behind Monte Ellis. And one line in that clip that really stood out was saying, quote, "You're supposed to win when your center is that dominant." Okay, let's roll with that. Applying to LeBron James, when you have Wade, Bosh in 2011, you're supposed to win the title and not flop in the finals versus Dallas. In Cleveland, when you have Kyrie, Kevin Love, a super team, you're supposed to have more than one championship. In Los Angeles, when you've had AD, Rondo, Dwight Howard, Westbrook, Reeves, D'Lo, and control all the rosters, you're supposed to have more than one championship. And looking at prime Shaq, in my personal view, the most dominant force of the 21st century, and the most dominant player since Wilt Chamberlain. But Shaq's big Achilles heel was the free throw line.
With this love fest that has broken out here at Staples. Oh, playing.
And when it comes to Shaq Diesel, of course, he was dominant. But in the big time moments, he needed a Kobe and Nick Van Exel, a D-Wade and Eddie Jones to take over in those final moments. And looking at young Kobe, the first game I think of is Game 7 of the 2000 West Finals. As in the final 6 minutes of that game, Kobe had a game-high 7 points in the fourth quarter, including the game-icing lob to Shaq himself. That same year in the finals versus the Pacers, Shaq in the fourth quarter Game 4 fouled out. And who in that game took over and the game-winning putback versus the Pacers to give him a commanding 3-1 lead? That was Kobe. I could go on for minutes, make an entire video about clutch Kobe games playing alongside Shaq. But to save some time, look at the raw numbers and Kobe's clutch time stats, having the final 5 minutes within 5 points in the playoffs. In 2000, he ranked first in that category at 4.8 points per game. In 2001, the exact same thing, ranked first at 3.7 points per game. And then in 2002, ranked third in the NBA, still ahead of Shaq at 2.9 points per game. Kobe in his early 20s, really before his prime, was carrying Shaq late in games in the NBA playoffs. Now, looking at this guy's last point, he made a very clear distinction that Kobe was Robin to Shaq's Batman. When he says that, he's implying LeBron James not once has been a Robin on his teams.
I'm freaking Robin?
Look at the 2011 Heat in the NBA playoffs. Who was that team's leading scorer? It was Dwayne Wade. The second round versus Boston, LeBron's first meeting versus the Celtics since leaving Cleveland. Who in that series was the best player? It was Dwayne Wade, averaging 37-5 with 2 steals on 52.6% shooting. Many forget, LeBron's first series versus Boston, D-Wade, not LeBron, was the team's Batman. And don't get me started on that year's finals versus Dallas, as LeBron in that series, he wasn't even Robin. He was peak Alfred J. Pennyworth. Now, looking back at the Kobe and Shaq Lakers in the early 2000s, Kobe numerous times was a better overall player in numerous series in the West. Look at 2001, the second round versus the Kings, averaged 35.0 points per game. That same year in the West Finals versus San Antonio, averaged 33.3 points per game. 0-2 in the first round versus Portland, averaged 26 points per game, higher than Shaq. The second round versus the Spurs, 26.2. also higher than Shaq. And last but not least, 2003, for both the T-Wolves and Spurs, Kobe was the Lakers' leading scorer.
I'm Batman.
And when discussing teammate help, of course, this guy brings up Shaq 24/7. But the one thing he won't mention is the 2009 and 2010 Lakers, because Kobe in those two championships had less help than any LeBron championship roster in his career. And mind you, he did it in a much, much tougher conference. As looking at the 2009 Lakers, Kobe was a walking 30 points per game with no teammate above 20 points. 2010, virtually the exact same thing as Kobe, averaged 29 per game with no teammate above 20. So that right there is the end of the video. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.